Welcome to Colney Talk Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a lovely weekend. Welcome to another episode of Colney Talk Podcast, a bite-sized show. I'm your host, Alex. First-time guest, happy to have you here. And to my returning listeners, thanks for joining me. On this bite-sized show, I talk a bit about the Arsenal game and then pick out my top 3 Arsenal players who I think were really great in the game and one player I consider the odd one who just had a poor game or just not good enough that I usually call out. Arsenal hosted Sheffield United at the Emirates Stadium. A lot of changes in the lineup. I mean, I didn't think we were going to see that many, but, really good to see Vieira start a game in place of Big Gabby, seeing Smith Rowe come in on the side. I mean, there was just that excitement to see some of these young core. I was really excited to see how Smith Rowe, Eddie, and Saka would play together. It's been a while we've seen that, and Arsenal really looked lively against the side. The young core playing with a lot of confidence. Seeing Saka captain this team is interesting. I mean, it almost makes him feel not old, but in maturity and seniority, he's getting up there. So he has earned and worked himself into that maturity level anyway. So that was awesome. A lot of forward runs and passes when the game just started, and how much we really controlled the game. Just seeing how much we were going to impose ourselves from a technical level with the quality that we had against this Sheffield United, no offense. And that just kept with the team moving forward a lot and great passes through the middle. I mean, there were just this big rhythm of good chances that started picking up. Martinelli playing with a lot of joy and good burst on the left. I mean, these are the kind of games that you see him smiling when he's trying to cause a lot of, discomfort for the defense. And a half volley from Raya to Martinelli, you just really set up Saka for a shot that was just one of the best in the first half. I mean, that was, again, these flashes of brilliance from the players and how much they were playing with so much confidence. Arsenal looking to put up a score, but some of the spaces that we kept exploiting needed a little bit more crisp balls and quick turns and passes and things to unlock the goalless score at the moment. And halfway through in the first half, we hadn't gotten one yet. And just not long after, a wonderful connection from Rice and Nketiah. Perfect touch and finish from Eddie. I mean, that was our first shot on target. Arsenal looked to be fully dominant in creativity, and the players were on the front foot, fighting to retain the ball, making a few more runs in the box, and Saka just everywhere from the left, in the middle. I mean, I don't get to see that often, but that shows you how much the team were just gelling and just connecting in different situations. And then they continued doing that, and they were trying to get another score, and the build-up was just showing itself up as we looked to try to get a second goal in that first half. And the build-up was mostly coming from the left side because, the influence of Zinchenko and getting, Rice to connect to Martinelli was just there. And for about 5 minutes in a moment of that first half, the pressure was on to score. I mean, corners, goal line clearances, block shots. Arsenal rained down in that Sheffield United's final third to get another goal. But credit to them, as much as they stayed tiptoed to defend all of Arsenal's push, and they did so much of that in their blocking, because there were these moments when weren't just given. They had to create that, and so Sheffield not doing anything to create an attacking situation for themselves, knew what they were up against, just spent all the time defending, and that's how they did throughout the first half, and that was it. And the final whistle for the first half came, and this was just that overall feel of how Arsenal were playing with so much confidence and fluidity in front and moving towards the attack, and they did so much of that. Stats wise, it was just 2 shots on goal from Arsenal, and clearly that could have been a whole lot more, because these were coming from block shots and so many chances that they had to work to defend. And I knew there was going to be so much of that coming in the second. So that's how we were looking at it. Comfortable second half start, passing in our defensive third comfortably between Saka, Zinchenko, and Ryer. Just again, this confidence stretching all the way with the team. There wasn't much of a pressure from Sheffield United, so there was this ongoing series of attack that we started in the first half that we just had to pick up again in the second, where we grew and stayed within the edge of the boxes and created things. And the second goal, just in their box from a corner kick. I mean, quick reaction from Eddie, again with series of moments that a shot was blocked and then led to a corner kick, and Eddie just put us 2-0 up with just some quick brilliance, quick reactions. It was again another sign of just how good he is, and when he gets a good half a second chance, he can do something, and he's consistent in showing that display anyway. So, good for him to give us that second goal and keeping us in a very comfortable lead. And again, yes, it was expected, and the gears were really cranking up. Soon going to shift from high gear and then more to game management and cruise control. But that doesn't mean the team had to just let off the gas just yet, because we've suffered that. But that's not anything about this team and what they did for this game, because the way they kept playing, clearly they knew anything can happen. Didn't really underestimate how that can happen. All we had to do was control the game, control the tempo, the ball movement, and stay in front to keep that possession dominance really more in our favor. And speaking of ball movement, Smith Rowe, I was, selfishly looking for him to contribute and score, but I think his role looked to be less of that in attack. And based on how much he was going to be doing, is more of link-up plays and passing to the other players. And I mean, that didn't really limit him to do such in terms of attacking and trying to score, but he knew his role in the game, and I think he did it effectively, at least the way I saw it. Not really much to call out or ask extra for him, because again, there's so much excitement that we want, at least I want Smith Rowe to do. So that was great. And not long after, Eddie Nketiah cemented his name for this game with a third goal, and it was a beautiful hat trick, his first ever in the Premier League at least. And it was a quick turn and firing, sizzling shot from him in the top corner. I mean, top quality from Eddie. Again, pass from Smith Rowe, just left it to him to just do this from the edge of the box. I mean, yeah, one of the best goals of the week. He did take his time out to make that happen. But again, it was a very swift, quick turn from Eddie, and big applause for him. Clearly, not a problem when we were now 3-0, 60 minutes into the game. Arsenal just had all the control. Not long after, the subs had to come on, but the team were looking quite exquisite and smooth in attack. I mean, the passing groove, as it grew on, just stayed the same and remained consistent, and it was just really within Sheffield's final third, so fluid. And then having Tomiyasu and Trossard come in, it was just to keep the game still in front of us, business as usual. Some line-breaking passes from Saliba, and calmness when handling the ball, even under pressure, in what we can see in the game. And he handled that really well. And at this time, it was 15 minutes left before extra minutes. The players were easily having their way in the game. Trossard and Zinchenko putting Sheffield United defense under pressure, and how they were connecting and really moving swiftly from the left side. And Declan Rice as well. His inclination to drive forward has not stopped and is just becoming more of a reoccurrence, and I definitely welcome that. I mean, just so much in his game that we're going to continue seeing, and what Arteta has done to unlock this, it's just amazing, really amazing. So while Arsenal had a complete dominance, I did not like seeing a few of the poor decision-making passes that was happening. I mean, yeah, it may sound like nitpicking, but just anything to take our rhythm off in the box, I just really don't like that. But hey, that didn't really take away much from the game, but something I just had to at least call out a little bit. Not on anyone particularly, but that's just what it is. And those bad passes can really make some things just change in a turn of event, but that was not much. Anyway, the game continued, and then we got a penalty from a Vieira foul and a very good gesture from Eddie to give Vieira the chance to score. And little did we know until after he scored that he was also expecting a little one. So congrats to him on that. And it was refreshing to see how far he has come, you know, getting so comfortable with a spot kick because, I mean, it was really fair to assume that the nervous level from many of us were really minimal from him when he was going to stand to take it. So, again, good quality, good performance, and I think we would like to see so much of that comfort when some of our other players who may come in a situation when they have to, shoot a penalty. So he did that. He scored a classic goal to make it 4-0, and that was such a very good feel moment as well. And then we were able to bring in Mo and Nelney into the game for Declan Rice. Wonderful moment, like big applause, big ovation for him, and that was much to be expected with the way we were now for 4-0 leading into the game. And at this point, we could have subbed Raya if we wanted to, not anything with the goalkeeping subject, but just seeing how much we can have done a few more subs in the game. And it was curtain closed here, at least for me, knowing that for the team in general. But 10 minutes of extra time, really? I mean, if anything, it was going to be an opportunity for Arsenal to get another chance to score, given the way the team had dominated and barely gave Sheffield United anything of a chance to do anything. So even when we lost the ball, they barely even snuffed out a counter attack. But a chance did come from Havertz to Eddie, and that was blocked, and it was now, I guess, last minute corner. And what, to me, I considered a beautiful moment in the game. Tomiyasu scored his first Arsenal goal. He scored. Like, I was just so elated. I was so excited for him. This was just huge. I just knew that he was going to be rewarded with how much of work and drive he has been doing from the offensive side of things. And this is just that one big reward that will continue to pay off and even give him a whole lot more belief now that he would contribute forward. So big applause. That was really awesome. And the very last minute, we all thought Havertz had scored as well because it was just a really nice sequence of play, and he really released the shot immediately, but it was side netted, and that was the final whistle, and that was it for the game. I mean, nothing you could ask more. All smiles and hugs and applauds. Great win, 3 points, clean sheet, debut goal. I mean, one for a wonderful weekend, I'll tell you. So, straight to my top 3 performers. First player, like you already know, hat trick hero. Not that it mattered, but he was just all his goals were individual brilliance, and he executed it with finesse. He didn't even have to tussle a lot and hustle and grind and press as much for this game. I mean, he did his usual pressing and all, but he didn't do it to that level that we've seen him in the past. But nonetheless, when he was on the ball, he took his chances impressively. So well done to him. Second player, Declan Rice. Nice assist, bold, driving forward. Long may that continue. He was the big wall that prevented Sheffield from just initiating any attacking rhythm, and just his big personality, defending and just closing things out, was all that was just enough and necessary to keep them quiet for the game, which he did. So yeah, big one for him there. And then the third player for me, Saliba. I think he was the Rolls Royce in defense. I mean, collaborating defensive incredibly with Kivior. I liked his passing distribution, doing that with a lot of authority and not complacent in any situation. He hasn't had that in any, but given how we were up 4-0, those things can creep up in some ways, but he didn't really deal with that or come in any situation for that. It was a great game for him, for the big guy overall. So yeah, that was it for him. Obviously, no odd player to call out, seeing how comfortable the team were, leading 4-0 and then eventually 5-0 in attack. The way the team controlled the midfield, there wasn't really a high amount of pressure, and the players barely endured any kinds of challenge to expose them or keep them out of their element, and I really like that. That was great for us to enjoy. Well, That wraps it for today's episode. This was a standard expectation for the win, and the players assured us of that. Big ups to Nketiah and Tomiyasu for their memorable performance. We turn our sights to another game midweek. Until then, talk to you all later. Take care.